Welcome back to SFA News Live. Probably the most important thing that the Specialty Foods Association does for its members and probably for the industry is information, is being able to track what the trends are, really being able to give all these exhibitors, all the retailers, the information they need. And this is just a Xerox, not a Xerox copy, but a home printed copy of the State of the Specialty Food Industry Report 2018. With me, I've got the people who are responsible for it. We're going to talk about some of the highlights, where the industry is going. First up, Denise Purcell. Denise and I have worked together forever, back to the old Today Show days, where we would bring products there and so on. She's the director of content, editor of the magazine, doing everything to really be able to take the information of the industry and get it out to the members and the world. And David Lockwood from Intel, who's responsible for a lot of the number crunching. But this year, Denise, when I started looking through this, I saw a lot of different things than I've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So talk to me about why this is so important and how it's changed and what some of the new information is. And then we're going to get David to number crunch for us.
Excellent. We revamped the entire report, so we're really excited to share it with the industry and the world at this point. We used to do several reports during the course of the year. We had our State of the Industry, we had our Today's Consumer report, and last year we started to do some category forecasting.
Right, which were fabulous.
And
I think it was like 52 categories?
Or around 30 or so.
Or 30,
yeah.
okay.
But
maybe 32,
we tracked
yeah.
63 in the entire research.
That's great.
But we took some key categories and we forecasted them. And so we took all of these pieces and we put them together into one big comprehensive report this year. We added interviews with the supply chain to add some context to it. So now you really get a picture of the industry. You know, what is the sales data? How are things growing? Where are they growing? What are the consumer demographics and drivers behind that? Plus, as you mentioned, the category forecasts are really key because now you can see here's where the industry is and here's where it's going, right? So we take...
And that's what everybody wants,
and that's what they want,
ball.
of course.
Right.
And we, with Mintel's help, we've divided it into what's going to really kind of take off, what's going to grow, what's going to maybe slow down, and so we get a picture of that.
And I think it's important because this industry has changed dramatically. From the first time that I used to come to the fancy food shows with my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have, little sauce makers and chocolate and things like that, and they were really sold mostly in gourmet stores or gourmet departments in certain supermarkets like Balducci's and places like that.
Sure.
But now, this is mainstream. I mean, this is what every consumer is looking for.
Yeah.
This is not, and I think that specialty food is really a misnomer because I look at this and this is the hottest trendy foods. It's the foods that are growing. It's the healthy foods. It's all of that.
And to a lot of younger consumers especially, it's food. Like, this is how they eat. It's not a luxury or something like that. They care about what they're eating, what's in the products, and this is just a day-to-day experience.
So David, as we get to some numbers, the industry is so focused on e-commerce, which is below 2%, of grocery sales. But that's where everybody's, e-commerce this, e-commerce this. What percentage of sales is what's in Javits Center for the next 3 days?
Yeah, it is less than 2%. So it is a small percentage, but it is the tail that's wagging the dog. So it's important not to overlook that. In our forecast, even if you look out to 2022, it'll still be way less than 10%. Nevertheless, it's changing the way people are shopping. So it isn't so much the number of sales that's important, it's the fact that it's changing the way people shop.
And talk to me about some of those changes. What are people looking for now when they shop?
So instead of going to stores 2-3 times a week, younger generations go to stores less, shop online more. That doesn't mean they don't go to stores and shop. So they're still exploring, but they're doing some of their exploring, the pre-exploration online. Then they'll go into the store when they have questions. So it's not a bad thing that there's fewer people in the market going up and down the aisles. They're not just aimlessly exploring. They're doing the aimless exploring online, the thing where it's just to find out new things.
And also they're buying some of the brand name staples online and just having them delivered so they have more time in the store to
Yeah.
have those discussions, to
Yeah.
be able to ask those questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, people do worry about whether stores will still be around.
Oh,
absolutely, they'll
absolutely.
still be around.
Absolutely.
And, it's just that some of the pre-shopping gets done online.
See, I think to your point, I think that the stores are going to get better. And the reason I think that they're going to get better is what we're going to have is all the paper towels and bottled water and all that other stuff delivered. And the rest of the store is just going to be what we see here at Javits Center. It's going to be more exciting food. It's going to be more fresh food, more plant-based.
Yep.
And so I'm going to put you guys on the spot because I know you don't have the whole report here. But of those 60 some categories, share with me, a few of them that you guys put your brains together and said, this is really hot. This is what every member of our association needs to be looking at. Here's what every buyer of every supermarket, of every grocery store, of every restaurant needs to be looking at. So who wants to go first on that?
I can go first,
Okay.
I guess. I mean, there are a few areas, but I don't think we can deny plant-based as a.
Absolutely.
It's not a trend; it's sort of a movement at
Yes.
this point, right? So I think we're going to see more of that, and I think kind of health and wellness, or a health halo in general, a better for you kind of choice in the products, whether it's a lentil chip versus a potato chip, or chocolate stuffed with goji berries or something like that. I think consumers that's going to continue, where they, even when they're treating themselves, they want to feel like they're doing something good for themselves.
And to build on that, a little while ago we had Glenn Miller from Vera Roasting Company
Yeah.
here, the coffee. So what they're doing with coffee, which is really interesting, is they're trying to make coffee into nutraceuticals. So they're adding cannabis to it. So you have coffee that could ease the pain for you. Also, not to get high, but that
Yeah.
extract
The
that the
CBD, right, yeah.
And then they also have another one with the extract from red wine.
Oh yes, resveratrol, right? Yeah, the antioxidant.
Doing that. So it's not just
Yeah.
these other little easy fixes, if you would. And he's an organic chemist. He's never
Yeah.
been in the food business before in his life, but he knows how to do all this stuff, which becomes really cool. So what are some of the areas, David, that you think are really hot?
Yeah, so that touches on a conversation that Denise and I were having earlier about, is there going to be an indulgence sector, or will that just all go to health and wellness? And I think that's the brilliance of this industry. And your example is exactly that, is that the indulgent things can also be better for you.
Absolutely.
And that's a whole new concept, right? It used to be indulgence was over here and health and wellness was on the other side.
Right.
Now this industry is starting to merge the two. So that's exciting. You started to talk about categories and what's going on. Something that people might not know is that, sure, everybody knows that refrigerated meals are growing rapidly in grocery stores. Did you know frozen meals are growing just as fast?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
And that's after
in
probably...
the specialty foods, not conventional.
Yeah, I was just going to
right?
say, that's probably after a good decade or more of
Yeah.
frozen foods declining
Yeah.
until, and I know I'm not supposed to name brands, but I do it anyway, until we have this little company called Saffron Road who comes on the scene with halal, with clean labels, fabulous tasting products, tiki masala. I don't think I ever had tiki masala before that, in a frozen thing. And now all of a sudden what happens is all these big companies say, okay, we're going like this, and these little frozen food companies that are members of Specialty Food Association are going like this, and consumers love them.
Yeah.
It's not a list of ingredients that's that long that you can't pronounce most of what's in there, or high sodium or high fat or whatever else. And it took the industry probably 10 years to wake up, to be able to look through your lens and your lens to say, hey, here's what consumers are buying. Pay attention. This is what you should be making.
Yeah.
And now we finally see it.
Yep.
I mean, if you look at even ConAgra, and they just bought Pinnacle a couple days ago, but you look at how they've reformulated Healthy Choice back to almost the original premise of Healthy Choice,
Right.
and they got away from it. Even Banquet, which is the one of the least expensive frozen foods that are out there. They've cleaned up all those ingredients.
Yep.
So they're listening. So
Absolutely.
for the two of you, you've walked the show floor for years. What are you hoping to see this year that maybe you haven't seen before? David, I'll start with you on that.
Hoping to see.
Hoping to see.
Well, I just like to see the level of innovation going on because, like I say, it's not just making a slightly better product, it's changing categories and inventing new categories. So I'm looking for things I haven't seen before. Again, mashing categories together or something like that. That's always the most exciting thing for me because then it shows the industry's wheels are still turning just as fast as they were before. So
yeah, and I think to that point, this show, the Fancy Food Show, both here and in San Francisco, is where you see these new innovative products faster than any place else.
Absolutely.
Because they're small companies, they've come up with these ideas.
Yeah.
Some of them are bootstrapping. Earlier today, I had on the Kali Power pizza, and I had reviewed this product February 2017. She reminded me. We were actually the first review that she did that did her, and she loved that. But the point of it is, she started the company 6 months before that. 6 months, and today she's in over 10,000 supermarkets with the pizza. Has all kinds of new products. That's what this show is about. So, what are you hoping to see?
Oh gosh, I mean, there's a lot. Maybe more of the international flavors in areas that have yet to be discovered. Like one of the, we have our Trend Spotter panel that we've talked about before.
And we're going to talk about that either tomorrow.
I think
some
tomorrow,
of the things that they're finding.
Yeah, because they're walking the show floor. But they said Filipino food for 2018 was going to be one of the top 10 trends. And so we keep our eye on it. We're starting to see more packaged products for retail in that area, like juices made from this citrus fruit that's ubiquitous in the area. North Africa is another region where we're starting to see more products and more flavors. So I think that keeps things interesting and keeps kind of a global feel to it.
And I also think that in today's world, because of our iPads and our iPhones, we're seeing recipes, we're seeing foods from all over the world. I mean, you used to have to come here to see, exciting foods from different countries, but now it's on everybody's Instagrams, it's on their fingertips. And especially for millennials and Generation Z, this is the way they eat. I mean, when I was growing up, I think we had one Chinese restaurant in the town. The town was mostly Italian, so we had a lot of Italian restaurants and a lot of pizza. But I think that was it when it came to ethnic food. We really didn't have a lot more. And now, you look around and it's there.
Yeah, and you've got generations who grew up that way. That's not different to them. This is what they expect, and they want to find that kind of flavor adventure in everything.
Yeah. Well, as I always say, with millennials, this is the generation that wakes up every morning and never wants to eat the same thing twice in their lifetime. So they have to come here. So thank you both so much. We're going to be talking again to Denise throughout the entire Fancy Food Show, the Trend Spotter panel, as well as other things. So stay tuned. Again, we're up on Facebook Live. We're on our YouTube channel. We're being broadcast throughout the Javits Center here through monitors. Come by. We're right outside. We're right inside the special events hall where Seeds and Chips is. Stop by, say hello. Going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with more on SFA News Live.